Everyone's talking about AI content creation. It's that shiny new object that's out there. But is it something you should actually be putting your time into? In this video, we're going to break down the pros, the cons, and make sure that you are utilizing it to the best of your ability. AI in content creation is something that is being talked about in multiple stratospheres. We're seeing it not only on social media, but also in many podcasts, YouTube videos, all of the different places you can possibly think of. Now, AI is being used in order to improve upon and also to create content. Now, for some, this is kind of a controversial topic, and not many are comfortable with this idea. We're actually seeing many bloggers that are feeling like they're being entirely replaced by AI. Now, when we think of AI, we're thinking of using tools like ChatGPT, Gemini. There's lots of different tools out there for different purposes. But for the purposes of today, we're really going to be honing in on ChatGPT because it is a tool that is free, does have the ability to have a paid feature, but it is a free tool that you can use in order to take advantage of AI. There's very specific things, though, that we need to talk about when it comes to creating content while using AI. AI tools in content creation can do a wide variety of things. It really depends upon what you are trying to do with your content creation. It can do anything from creating an entire blog post to writing you an entire script for a YouTube video. Or it could simply share the social media content that you want to create in order to collaborate with the content you've already created. So when we're thinking about the AI tools and how you're going to use it, I want you to start to think about the different ways that you potentially would use an assistant. This is how we at JennyMelrose.com are using AI. It is an idea that you want to use AI in order to replace potentially that virtual assistant that you may have in multiple places. So any conversation that you would normally have with a virtual assistant on writing an email, creating a blog post, editing content, these are the types of conversations that you're going to have with the AI tools that are offered. Now, there are some really strict basics that I highly recommend that you take into consideration, and I want to make sure that we break these down for you. But we're really going to be emphasizing the idea of using ChatGPT as a potential assistant to what you are already doing. AI gives you the ability to have multiple benefits. Some of these benefits include the idea that it's going to be more efficient. It's not going to take you as long to create any sort of content that you put out there. It is also going to be more cost effective. Instead of having to pay in a virtual assistant $15 an hour to upwards of $30, depending upon what you are asking them to create, now you can use a free tool like ChatGPT in order to do that. It also is going to help you potentially with SEO optimization. Many of you are most likely already using a software like keysearch.co or SEMrush, but instead you can also continue to use in coordination with your keyword tool. I'm not telling you to get rid of your keyword tool, but in coordination with it, you can add in aspects of ChatGPT so it can make it specific. This way, if you are repurposing your content to other platforms, like going from a blog post to a YouTube video or to a podcast, you can make it more specified to those platforms by asking ChatGPT for that help while using in coordination to a tool like KeySearch or SEMrush. It is also going to help you create content ideas. It can help you, this idea of being able to brainstorm different thoughts for content. What potentially could make sure that they're leading from one into the other. We've talked a little bit about this in the past, the importance of making sure that you are the expert, having that spider web of information. You can use ChatGPT in order to help you find these interlinking content ideas that you can potentially talk about. So you can use it like a brainstorming tool. It is also going to help with your consistency because it is helping with your efficiency. So it all ties back together. Once you start using a tool like ChatGPT, it allows you to be more effective and therefore saving you more time in the entire process of creating content. There are some definite limitations, though, when it comes to AI-created content. You're going to potentially lack the actual voice of your brand if you are not doing the next step that we're going to talk about in this video, so don't go anywhere. But you can have the possibility of lacking that voice that people are used to hearing within your content. You also could end up with some inaccuracies, especially if you're creating content from AI solely from asking it to create the entire breadth of the article without adding any information into it and then not editing it. So it's really important that you realize this and recognize it to make sure that you are editing anything that is AI generated and to fact check with research that they are actually pulling facts that are going to help your article and not hurt you and look like you're making things up. The other problem that you can run into when it comes to AI is that it can come across as inauthentic. There is no way in order to have that personalization potentially added in. It's much more difficult to do. So when you try to add in any sort of storytelling, it's not going to have that. The storytelling has to be added in afterwards in order to have that personalization and that connection. Now, I'm going to give you the little tip that's really important when we're using AI. Here's my biggest tip when it comes to using AI to make sure that you are still having the personalization, your voice is coming across. It is vital that when you use an AI tool that you provide it with background information. You have to give it as much information as you can about your business, about your audience, their customer journey, where they are trying to go, so that it can better understand what it is that you are creating. The more information you provide it with, the more it's going to understand what it is that you do and be able to add in your personal voice. So if you already have content, I would highly recommend feeding it to ChatGPT and asking it to write an email or write social posts based on an article that you've already written or based on a YouTube transcript that you've already written. This way it understands your voice and can make sure that it's adding in the nomenclatures, the words that you would normally use when creating copy. Now, if you have PDFs where you've created opt-ins or an ebook, anything that is an actual PDF that shows what you're already trying to teach your people, feed that to ChatGPT as well. It can change the way that it understands what you do. One of the first things that I did when I really dove into ChatGPT and trying to get it to understand me better was to take my book, Influencer Entrepreneurs, which was published in 2020, and I gave it a PDF of the book. From there, I was then able to ask it for content ideas that could build upon the concepts that are in the book and tie in nicely to be able to push people towards the book and let them know that the full solution is included inside of the book. Now, once we had those content ideas, I was able to do the keyword research using a keyword tool like Key Search, and then be able to create titles with the help of ChatGPT, not only for blog posts, but also for YouTube videos and podcast episodes. You'll notice that most of my content is coordinating. It is being repurposed. There's a podcast episode, a blog post, and also a YouTube video. But each of those will often have a different title. And it's because I've used ChatGPT to better understand what my audience on a podcast is looking for as compared to my audience on YouTube or Googling things for an article. So once we have that, I can then ask ChatGPT to create me an outline. I do not ask for a script or for a blog post because I believe that the best way for you to know who I am is to write that content and personalize it. Now, personally, I am someone that takes an outline and I then create that content for a podcast episode and a YouTube video at the same time. I take the audio from the YouTube video and turn it into a podcast based on editing and the way that a podcast listener would want to hear information. And I take the YouTube video and do the same. From there, we take the actual transcript of that video or the podcast, either one, and we turn it into a blog post that is going to be able to coordinate with those episodes. Again, the keyword research was done for each one. We have the YouTube, podcast, and blog post keyword research. So we're making sure that those are infiltrated throughout and it's SEO optimized when the content is produced and put out there. From there, we then will take those episodes, whether it's podcast, blog post, YouTube, and we are going to send an email to our list. And I will ask ChatGPT based upon this article, and I will copy and paste the article into ChatGPT so it has it. I will then ask it for a 3-sentence email to send to my list where they're going to want to click through and read more about the article, possibly listen to the podcast video or watch the YouTube video, which is all embedded on my own property, my website. So remembering always, I always emphasize this fact with you all. Do not build your business on rented property. Even though I am creating YouTube content, I am still making sure that it lives on my website in the way of a blog post as well as a podcast episode. So any opportunity you have to repurpose that content is going to be key. Now remember, when we started this piece, it was really important that you gave ChatGPT information. The more that you continue to give it information about your audience, give it samples of your writing, give it PDFs, the more it's going to understand what it is that you're doing. It will be able to write copy for sales pages. It will be able to help you create the emails that could potentially be going out for a sales launch that you are doing. It matters what you give to it though. You cannot simply go into ChatGPT, ask it a random question, and expect it to be able to give you the information based on your personal brand. You have to emphasize all of the background information. That is the key to making sure that ChatGPT and AI tools actually work for content creation. That you have given it your business plan. You've made sure that it understands where you are trying to take your audience and provide them with that solution that you offer. I would absolutely love to know in the comments which chat GPT or which AI tool you are actually using and how you are using it. Because it's really important that you start to understand that there's more ways than one to use this information.